official announcement of the formation of an emergency unity government. Still here with us in studio, Captain Guy Poran, Mr. Dan Perry, and I24 News as senior diplomatic correspondent Owen Alterman. Gentlemen, first of all, a unity government. Perhaps the next step will be questions from Israel's leaders, or two rather, Israel's leaders, and yet your impression of this newly formed cabinet, Captain Poran.
Well, I think that it's the, under the circumstances, it's the best we could hope for. Mm-hmm. But to tell you that I am confident that these guys will lead us to the victory that they're talking about, unfortunately, I'm far from being sure of that. But I do know one thing, that right now, even though many of us feel that the blame is very clear on what led us to this situation, we have to hold back, we have to bite our lips and wait, because at this point in time, the most important thing is to keep united. But 1 hour after the fighting is over, people are going to have to give answers. And what we've seen after the 1973 war, Moti Ashkenazi, is peanuts in compared to what is going to happen here when this war is over.
Yeah, we're still far from there, but...
I agree with Guy. Hamas is a barbaric terrorist mafia who perpetrated this vile act. That's clear. But there was great negligence in leaving open the door. There are going to be many very difficult questions to be answered, and the government that we just saw established is a statement that now is not the time to do that. But I think it's a better government. I think it's good in a state of crisis so extreme as we have today, to reduce the incompetence level of the Israeli government, maybe even to bring it to a level of actual competence. And I think that has been done. But in my view, this is very clearly an emergency government and not a unity government. So the minute after the emergency is over, the knives will come out.
Right, and also, you know, obviously having Benny Gantz's National Unity Party join is very significant, given the divisions in Israeli society that immediately preceded this. Of course, there are large parts of the Israeli left who are going to support the government from the outside, no question, but aren't actually, at least as of yet, part of it. There was nobody who actually committed this government to the definable and measurable goal that so many Israelis want and feel can be achieved even with significant cost. Nobody was willing to take that step and commit themselves. And again, there continues to be this kind of lessening of expectations that I think might over time make it difficult for this government, even expanded as it has been, and I think by the consensus made more competent as it has been, to really truly gain the public's trust.
Look, I think if they can remove Hamas from power in the Strip, they will. And you're right about the nuance, but Gantz was fairly militant in his speech. He said we will exterminate or eradicate Hamas. You're right that it's not quite as measurable as remove them from power, but he didn't have to say that, and he did, because he knows that in Israeli public opinion, that Rubicon has been crossed.
Hamas is an idea. You can kill every single soldier and commander of Hamas, destroy every single laboratory of rockets, but the idea of Hamas does not evaporate. Now, unless you stay there afterwards and continue to police the people, you cannot avoid the fact that once you go out, the children of those people will become Hamas.
And while you cannot kill an idea, you can definitely reframe it. And I'm alluding to Biden's speech from last night, which, again, its historic importance cannot be undermined. And Biden was drawing a clear line, aligning Hamas on the wrong side of history, clear-cut. If we're going back, if we use the term Israel's 9/11, axis of evil.
This is, in terms of the biggest picture, the geopolitical picture, another step in solidifying a cross-continental Western alliance, right? With Western media talking about Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan as a kind of trio,
Yeah.
right? Of outposts of Western values and of the Western alliance that need to be invested in and defended and supported. And again, it's a stunning turnaround. It's something we didn't know about 2023, that Israel is going to be a cause celeb of the West.
It's almost a
for
good
however
story.
long it lasts. For however long it lasts.
See, but that has to be emphasized. There is a trade-off here, because with all due respect to Biden Zionism and these important messages and this new alliance that you mentioned, if enough civilians die in Gaza, that will disappear. And so Israel's going to have to weigh all these trade-offs here, including another trade-off. There are two basic goals which attach to extreme action. One is the probability of the need to free thousands of dangerous, convicted and accused terrorists to get back the hostages. That seems likely. And the second is the high price that will have to be paid if Israel really does intend to retake the Strip and truly eradicate Hamas, meaning remove it from power and demilitarize the Gaza Strip. Benny Gantz in his speech said we're going to take extreme action. That's why we need this unity. That was interesting. I don't totally dismiss what politicians say. I just usually do. But that struck me as not unmeaningful. And I'm thinking he actually meant the latter. I think he meant extreme action in Gaza with all this biblical reference to blood and fire and pillars of smoke. Yeah. That to me speaks of a conflict.
Extreme, it's going to be, of course. It's
either way, and maybe together.
Yeah, but between extreme and to reach the goal of eliminating Hamas forever, these are two different things.
Do you think removing them from power is possible without a completely untenable price?
Temporarily moving them from power, again, as I said, if we manage to go in there, even with ground forces, and catch and kill every single one at a huge cost.
Yeah.
But never mind for the cost. Even if we kill all of them, eliminate them from power temporarily, unless we stay there, is not going to be possible, because once you go out, there are 2 million people out there who are not going to become Zionists after the Hamas is dead.
Sure, installing the PA, installing a foreign peacekeeping force, various versions.
The PA. Look what's happening now.
It's not a panacea, but it may be at least that option.
There is, the phrase thinking outside of the box. Maybe this box no longer applicable altogether. We need a new box. Objectives of day 6, briefly, if you may, Captain.
Well, I think that the first thing is that we need to get our military, for whatever action is going to be taken eventually, getting them as ready as possible, because we don't want another 2006 Lebanon 2 happening in Gaza now. And we already hear about a lot of the forces being mal-equipped and all these kind of things. So we first of all, we have to get them as ready as possible, one thing. And this is the immediate need. Yeah. And then I'm hoping that this cabinet and the military, the IDF, is going to put together calmly. You know, it's very, very extreme now, but as much as possible to do it in a serious and systematic and professional way, prepare those next steps. That's for the immediate future. Not, in other words, not jumping into any kind of adventure only to find out 2 days later that there is another disaster that is happening.
Yeah, the turn of events is so quick, so intense. It's impossible to count. Dan Perry, final remarks.
I think the objective for day 6 is to begin the healing of Israel, basically, from a nightmarish year of political nonsense ending in this horrible butchery, and to not take radical, thoughtless action, but to have the best minds in a country, which may not be exactly the cabinet we saw, but to mobilize them and calmly figure out how to both fix the Gaza problem and to get back the hostages.
Owen Alterman, I hope you're a bit more optimistic than these two.
I don't know that I'm more optimistic,
You are our last choice.
and I like what each of them said. I like what each of you said, and the idea of the nuts and bolts of preparation. Just again, I admit I'm not a military expert per se. It just strikes me as essential, and this idea of healing on the back of the unity government of what we just saw, I think, is essential.
Gentlemen, we need to wrap it up, but thank you so very much for joining us on this broadcast. Captain Guy Polan, Mr. Dan Perry, our very own Owen Alterman.